Hello, hello. As you can see, this is something new from me. This week is not going to have this regular video with scripts and research and being super boring, but I decided to try something new. I mean, it's not really new. If you look at there's a lot of videos of this sort on YouTube and everywhere. So, in this video, we are going to do a tier list of A Song of Ice and Fire theories. And I decided to make this video because after my break, my engagement fell, even though I did not lose any subscribers last time I checked. So I decided to try and maybe make a video of a different sort to, I don't know, just see how it goes and whether this format is even interesting for my audience. If maybe I should make more videos of this sort that are sort of more interactive rather than just me reading a script and being boring. So, I suppose that these are not all the tiers I could possibly discuss, but I already predict that this video is going to be super long. So, maybe that's good. And I'm gonna explain how this works. So, we have this tier list. And the way I categorize it is that on the top, there's going to be theories that I consider to be basically canon. And if they are not basically canon, then at least I very much love them and hope that they are going to be true. So this is going to be very probable. This is going to be an opinion I'm neutral or have no opinion on. And on this, I'm going to place here theories that are not very likely in my opinion, or I just don't like them. And here it's going to be 100% tinfoil or 100% I hate it. And just a heads up, if you hear some weird noises from this video, then this is because right next to me someone is building a fucking house. Like, they arrive at 8 AM and just build the house for the entire day and are very, very noisy and I'm homicidal with rage, so maybe they already left. I hope so. But if there's this weird noise, then there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. I can't tell them to fuck off because this is not my property. But alright, let's see how I do in this new format. No, I don't want to set Opera as my default one. Okay. So, let's start with this one. Randyll Tarly will back Aegon Targaryen. Or rather, Aegon Blackfyre. I think this is very probable. So, I will be discussing these theories as we rate them because, you know, a lot of those are really interesting. So I believe that Friends in the Reach is basically confirmed and it's gonna be Randyll Tarly. And I believe this is also something that we saw in the show, because in the show we had, there was no Aegon Blackfyre in the show, and they sort of merged, they gave the storyline of his and his team to various other characters. For example, Jorah was given Grayscale, Jon was given the name Aegon, and Cersei was given the Golden Company, and I believe that, in this entire scheme, there's going to be, that Randyll was given the role of support of Cersei when in the books he's going to support Aegon. So, yeah, he is the Friends, I don't know if Friends, I don't remember whether Friends in the Reach is a name of the theory or if this is something that is really name dropped. I would have to look at, I would have to name search in the books, but I believe that this is 100%, maybe not 100%, but it is very, very probable. Alright, to Bolton. Okay, so Bolton is this very stupid theory. I'm gonna put it in tinfoil, not because I hate it, but because I think it's tinfoil. So, Bolton is a theory according to which Roose Bolton is a vampire. And that he's been like possessing, that he's not really Roose Bolton. That he took over a person who's named Roose Bolton's body. That he's like a soul that takes possession of various bodies, and that he's been the same person for like thousands of years, just possessing different bodies. It's probably the stupidest theory I've ever heard of. I love it in the sense that it's so stupid that I just have to laugh. But you would be surprised at how much people believe in this. Like, if you go on Reddit, then and there's going to be sometimes people post threads that are like, what is a tinfoil theory that you believe in, or what is an unusual theory that you believe in, and Bolton is always going to be there and is going to be liked a lot. It will be funny, I guess. But I think that it kind of undermines the point of Rose's character because he's so creepy. I think the point of Rose's character is that he might outwardly seem polite. He might try to keep appearances, but if you go deeper into him, then you see that he's as much of a monster as Ramsay. I think that even Theon says something like that something along the lines that Roose is as evil as Ramsay, or even worse, but he just knows how to keep appearances. Like, Ramsay is very much Roose's son, no, but come on. This is just stupid. Right, maybe now something more likely. Oh shit, not all of them are here. Okay, because it turns out I did not put all of these theories here. There's going to be more. Because they were in different folders and I just forgot to include them. But I edited it and now it's here. So, okay. R plus L equals J is... R plus L equals J is 100% true. But the way people approach it is also wrong. Because, you know, I have this impression that people sort of started projecting their own theories and headcanons on Rhaegar. And they conceived of this, A Song of Ice and Fire is Jon because Jon is a son of a Stark and a Targaryen, and Stark equals ice, and Targaryen equals fire. And that's why Jon is the son of Ice and Fire, and that's why Rhaegar pursued Lyanna. But there's nothing about it in the Azor Ahai prophecy. Nothing about some union between Starks and Targaryens. Absolutely nothing. And what people are going to hate the most is that Rhaegar and Lyanna are going to be a 100% unambiguous love story. People are going to hate this so much. Like, can you imagine if... I mean, this is already known to people who who read this story with their eyes and not with their headcanons, because George referred to him as a love-struck prince. Barristan says that Prince Rhaegar loved his lady Lyanna. I think even Ned has like a passing thought of this sort, but I'm not sure. Don't take my word on it. It's not a secret, but people... I said this in my video about Rhaegar, that people tend to project their moral standards on George, and just because there's an age gap that's unacceptable to them, and just because Rhaegar left Elia, then this cannot be a love story. But this is 100% a love story, and it's going to be revealed as a love story. And if there was something about the prophecy and Rhaegar needing a third child, then it's going to be like at the very back of his mind. It's going to be a 100%, and it's going to be a love story. And oh my god, imagine Myrtle fans reading about this. I just have to, oh my god. Like, in my mind, I already prepared popcorn and some good wine, because the mess that is going to be when it is revealed to be a love story is going to be hilarious. Which brings me to another point. Where the hell is it? Where is it? Yes, here. That the Knight of the Laughing Tree is Lyanna is also 100% true. It's how she and Rhaegar met. Because Aerys told Rhaegar to find the identity of the Knight of the Laughing Tree, because Aerys was paranoid and think that this guy is out to get him. Rhaegar found Lyanna. He was impressed with her behavior and was impressed with, like, her standing up to others and her being a she-knight of some sort. And this is how they fell in love. And Rhaegar did not tell Aerys the true identity. He just said that he does not know who this is. And this is how they met. This is 100% true. And this is going to be... I mean, I think this is already... It's sort of the theory that is already revealed. We just need, like, someone needs to look into the camera and confirm it, because until you get this explicit confirmation, then people will search for something that is not there here. I don't think who else could it be, like, this has to be Lyanna, no other way about it. Okay, so maybe now something I hate. Miri Mazdur's fireproof spell. Okay. I hate it. This theory is basically that Miri Mazdur, during the pyre situation by the end of A Game of Thrones, that Miri Mazdur actually casted a spell on herself that made her fireproof, but it actually affected Dany, and this is how she survived. I hate it because this is yet another way to take away from the achievement that is waking into a funeral pyre and surviving and hatching 3 dragons. That if it wasn't for Miri, then Dany would just burn. No. George said that Dany is someone that makes up the magic as she makes up the magic as she goes along, and this is one of the situations, but this theory is solely there to take this away from her, to make her not that magical after all. No, this is absolutely not what happened. Dany did this because she's Azor Ahai, which we'll get to. But now maybe let's do something more mundane. Aleras Sarella, this is 100% true. That the guy who says he's Aleras is actually a Sand Snake Sarella. This is like another thing that is not said outright to us, like fourth wall breaking. So people tend to like be, oh, this is not confirmed. It is confirmed. And this brings me to another point. I find it interesting how Sarella is the daughter of Oberyn. She is a Martel technically, but there's so little content for her. There's so little content about sand snakes in general. There's very little content there's some content for Ariane, but the most content you will find if you stand House Martell is Alia. Which has one line in the entire story, like, I dare you, go to some, I don't know, on Tumblr, some source blog for Martels. It's going to be all Alia. And it's kind of sad because, like, Martels would be probably my second favorite house if it wasn't for that Alia cult, because I don't care about Alia Martell in the slightest. I like Ariane, I like Sand Snakes, but there's so little content for them. It's hilarious given that they are, like, the characters that appear in this story. Well, Alia is just, you know, a minor side character that died, but people made up entire personality for. I hate it. Alright, I'm gonna close my eyes. Wait, why didn't it disappear? Why is it here twice? Alright, never mind. Let it be heard here twice, and who gives a shit? Okay, I'm gonna have to close my eyes again. Septa Limor Ashara Dane. I don't necessarily hate it, but I don't like it because I don't think that someone has a secret identity secretly. I don't find this very likely because if I'm pretty sure that she has black hair. No, I'm pretty sure that Septa Limor is blonde. It doesn't matter. Tyrion would have noticed if she had purple eyes. And like I said, I don't think that people have secret identities left and right. I think that if Septa Limor has a secret identity, then she's Tyen's mother. But then it's going to be sort of weird because, fuck it, I have to check it because 40 years old, handsome, has an outgoing, friendly personality. She has brown hair. Okay, so I know that genetics is kind of stupid in A Song of Ice and Fire, but Tyen is blonde. And Oberyn has dark hair, so how the hell did they produce a blonde baby? I mean, it's not unlikely as in it cannot happen, but if there's a secret identity to Limor, then she is Tyen's mother. Yeah. I think that Ashara Dane is dead, I'm sorry. Like, I think she is dead and she's not coming back and she's not going to be relevant. Maybe there's going to be that reveal that her daughter was Ned's. And that's why she unalived herself, but that's about it. Alright. Sailor's wife Taisha. I don't think that's Taisha. I think this is, what the fuck was his name? Tyrion's uncle. This guy who disappeared in DC. Was it Tyrion? I think it was Tyrion Lannister. The one that had a daughter that's named Joy. I'm pretty sure that's him. That she's the wife of this guy who disappears in the sea. She's the wife of this Lannister who disappears in the sea. And she has a daughter that's named Lana, which is close to Lan and Lannister. Like, because the Lannisters descend from this guy, Lan the Clever, yeah. So I think that... I'm not sure if we're going to meet Taisha ever again. I'm pretty sure that George said that we will learn where the horse go. But that does not necessarily entail that we're going to meet Taisha again. I'm not sure. I don't think it's Taisha. I think because Taisha was married to Tyrion, but Tyrion was not a sailor. So if the sailor's wife is a Lannister's wife or ex-wife or divorce or husband, that's going to be the guy that disappears in the DC. Who the fuck was he? Yeah, that was him. That was the guy who disappeared in the DC. Alright. So yeah, I don't think that's very likely. Georgian paste. I'm gonna say I'm not 100% convinced, but I'm gonna put this in very probable. So, there's a scene in A Dance with Dragons when Bran eats some weird-ass... Was it A Dance with Dragons? Yeah, it must have been A Dance with Dragons. Where Bran eats this weird paste that makes him open his senses to Blood Raven's teachings. And Georgian is like walking around saying that he's going to die soon. And Georgian is not present anywhere after this event. Granted that not much time passes, but like he disappears mysteriously. So I think that's quite likely that the Georgian paste is that the paste that Bran eats is Georgian. This sounds so weird. There's a motive of cannibalism in Bran's... Overall, there's a strong theme of cannibalism in A Dance with Giants. And Bran already committed the taboo, like lying to himself that this is not a human being, but they eat human flesh at some point. This is so creepy. This is just a little kid. Give him a break. And I think that this was too dark for a Game of Thrones. For the show. This is why they had Jojen just die like that when these children were like throwing these fucking fire bombs. Oh my god, this was so stupid. This was like one of the first signs that this show is going to turn into shit. Alright, what next? Theon Darden. I fucking love this theory. I'm not sure if this is correct, but I fucking love it. Okay, so basically there's this movie Fight Club. I'm going to spoil it for the two people who have not watched it. So basically this is a story of a guy who meets... I don't think he has a name. He's referred to as the narrator. And at some point he meets this guy, Tyler Darden, English Heart, who... and they start a fight club where they just beat each other all the time. And this guy, Tyler Darden, starts some anarchist revolution of some sorts at the very end of the story. And by the very end, it turns out that Tyler Darden is not real. That the narrator and Tyler Darden are the same person, and this was his alter ego. So how does this relate to Theon? During A Dance with Dragons, Theon... there's a lot of murders going on around in Winterfell. And people start talking about some ghost in Winterfell that kills people. Was it like that? Okay, don't quote me on that. And at some point, Theon meets someone who accuses him of being a kinslayer. Which brings me to another theory, but I will mention it in the end if I don't forget. And there are various speculations as to who is this guy who keeps killing people. And the theory is that it's Theon, who, due to the torture that he suffered at the hands of Ramsay, that he is in fact dissociating and committing these acts as his alter ego. And I wouldn't say it's 100% confirmed, but I would say it's very likely, and I love it a lot. It's well played psychologically, I would say. It's something that I would think George pulled out. I don't have any more coherent thoughts. I just love this idea of there's a passage in Dance with Dragons in one of Theon's chapters where he sits down to eat breakfast and gets up at lunch. So I would say it's pretty likely that he dissociates a lot. And also, Theon's Dance with Dragons is like my second favorite storyline in all of A Song of Ice and Fire. I think this is some of George's best writing. And also this brings me up to this guy that Theon meets who calls him Kinslayer. So, we do learn that Bran and Rickon survived, that Theon did not kill them. And when he is accused of being a Kinslayer, he says that these Starks were not his siblings. They were sort of adopted siblings to him in a way. But in order to trick the people present in Winterfell that he did kill Bran and Rickon, he kills miller boys from like a mill close to Winterfell. And Theon says that he would often go and fuck the miller's wife, and at least one of these boys could be his son. And I'm pretty sure that Theon must have considered this, and this is why this alter ego of his calls him Theon Kinslayer. Not Kingslayer, Kinslayer. Which is another reason why I fucking love the Theon Darden theory. I had this fucking language. Okay. Wait, this? Fuck, this are... Okay, some of these doubled and probably some disappeared. Whatever, never mind. I won't be able to discuss all of them probably. Jaime's Valonqar is 100% true. I don't think this warrants discussion. Like, there are these various theories that Tommen is the Valonqar or that Lancel is the Valonqar, but I think that it's 100% confirmed that it's going to be Jaime. But I'm not entirely sure how this is going to play out, because last time I checked, Jaime was in pretty severe predicament. Brienne was captured by Lady Stoneheart. Almost hanged. No, how the hell did this play out? Like, Jaime was in the Riverlands. Brienne was in the Riverlands. Brienne meets Stoneheart. And then Brienne is almost hanged. But then then she says that she will find Jaime for Stoneheart. Or was he already captured? What the hell? Never mind. Whatever happens, Jaime and Brienne are going to have a trial by combat. And I think one of them has to win. And if Jaime is Valonqar, then... oh shit. Then he is going to kill Brienne. Unless something else happens. Unless there's some other development in here. And also a theory that is semi-related to the Jaime in the Riverlands situation is that I think that Arya will meet Stoneheart and Arya will kill Lady Stoneheart. Alright. Why the hell did this... Okay, some of these are doubled, but never mind. Okay. Never mind. So, okay, I'm closing my eyes. Pink letter alternatives. I wouldn't say it's thin... I'm kind of torn. Here or here? I'm going to leave it here. I believe that I'm probably the only person in the entire fandom that thinks that the pink letter was written by Ramsay and no one else. I don't see a point of this being Stannis or Mance or whoever else. I think that it was written by Ramsay. There is no secret. And it served its purpose. It was supposed to make Jon go against Ramsay and break his oaths and be killed. And I unfortunately think that Mance is dead. That the Washerwomen are also dead. I just don't like this theory very much, and I don't think it's very likely. You can see that the likelihood of this theory, of the theories being liked by me, is directly linked to whether I think it's real. But not always. Like, I think Bolton is hilarious, and I love it, like, ironically. What the fuck? It's here 3 times? Jesus. I don't know what happened with this. I must have screwed it up. Maybe I will find those that I left and add them here later. Never mind. I don't want to re-record this all over again. Whatever. Dornish Master Plan. So this is this very big convoluted theory by Preston Jacobs. I'm kinda torn. I don't know where to put this. I'm gonna put this here in the neutral, because I think that Doran Martell is playing some great game. But it's not as detailed as Preston makes it out to be. I don't think that the Brave Companions are secretly Dornish assets, no. I think there is a master plan. I think Dorne will ally with Aegon. There's this quite interesting theory that, because Oberyn has this daughter, Elia Sand, who is very much like Lyanna in behavior and personality, and there's theories that maybe Aegon will fall for Elia, and Aryan will be Elia in the situation, that he will run away with her like Rhaegar. I don't think it's very likely, but it's kind of interesting. Dorne will ally with Aegon, and I think George alluded to the fact that one of the great houses is going extinct. So in my opinion, it's going to be either Arryns or Martells. Unfortunately, because I would really like House Martell. I really like House Martell. It would be as I said, it would be my second favorite house if it wasn't for the cultists. But I don't think this master plan is going to work out. Okay. Robert Stone undead Gregor is 100% true, I believe. Missandei is a faceless man I hate. Because you can notice that a lot of theories surrounding Dany is her being betrayed. Like, this girl was betrayed so many times, and they want her to be betrayed by Barristan, by Missandei, by basically fucking everyone in her close proximity, and this basically only serves to make her more isolated. The relationship Dany has with Missandei is one of the purest things in the entire story. Missandei is brilliant, Missandei is very smart, Missandei is probably my favorite side character in Dany's storyline, aside from Barristan. And just making her into a faceless man, just to make her try to kill Dany and betray her once again. It's, as I said, the only purpose of all of this is to make Dany more isolated. And of course, this isolation is always her, oh, she's going to turn mad, you know? It always goes back to it. So yeah, I hate it. Fuck, it's here again. Wait, I'm gonna try and find... It's here 3 times. How is it possible? Alright, never mind. It's Jesus Christ. Why did it happen? Why are some of them doubled and others are not? Alright, let's gonna take all the doubles. Baylor was killed by the Faceless Man, yes, 100%. On Euron's orders. I don't feel like going too deep into it, to be honest. And this is doubled as well? What the fuck? Fucking hell. Alright, let's ignore it. Stannis burns Shireen is going to happen. It's already confirmed. I know that... You know what's the funniest thing ever is that we have 3 explicit confirmation of future events. And that is Stannis burns Shireen, Hodor reveal, and Bran as king. But people still resist Bran as king and Stannis burns Shireen the most. And still create alternative theories where this essentially doesn't happen. But, of course, George never said anything about Dany turning mad or Dany burning King's Landing, but 100%, but people believe it 90% of the times. Which is funny how they pick and choose what to believe to suit their own agendas. Stannis is going to burn Shireen, but the exact logistics of it are going to is what I don't think is decided and set in stone as of yet. I believe my personal favorite is that he's going to try and make her into his Nissa to forge Lightbringer, but instead it's going to resurrect Jon. And yes, one other thing I have to address is that I 100% believe that it's going to be Stannis. It's going to be Stannis' decision to burn Shireen. Not Melisandre, not Celis, because you kind of notice that a lot of things that happen in this story, or a lot of theories and stuff like that, things that men do are transferred to women. And this is one of the things where, in order to keep Stannis, like, quote-unquote, morally pure, people transfer the blame for burning Shireen on Mel or on Celis. But it's going to be Stannis. I'm saying this to you. That's what's going to happen. The exact logistics of how, because like Stannis is away from the wall right now where Shireen is. In the show they sort of make her go with him just to burn her. Oh, this show was so fucking stupid. Season 5 was terrible. Oh, another theory that I hate is that Dany is Nissa and Jon is Azor Ahai. To the point that I made like an entire video about it where Dany is supposed to be this gendered subversion in basically many different aspects, and by the very end she's going to be forced into a feminine role of a woman that is butchered to make way for a man being a hero. I absolutely despise it. You know what would be subversive? If it was the other way around. If Dany was Azor Ahai and Jon was Nissa. But it's not going to happen anyway because the Lightbringer forging already happened. It happened with Drogo as Nissa and Dany as Azor Ahai, and Drogon is Lightbringer. So we have that out of the way already. I already made a video about it, I think. Or at least I mentioned it somewhere. I think it was in the House of the Undying one. Or in the Hearts of Nissa and Hearts of Winter. I don't know. I mentioned it somewhere. I'm 100% sure. Fuck it, it's here. It's doubled as well. Okay, let's put all the doubled ones. I don't want to search it. Fuck off. Theon Darden. But all of the theories that I thought of are here. What did go wrong? Alright. Jon, Tyrion, and Dany are the three heads of the dragon. I find very probable. Maybe not 100% probable, but I think that Tyrion is going to be the non-Valyrian dragon rider that was teased a lot. Tyrion's connection to dragons, I think he even has dragon dreams when he was a kid. Tyrion was dreaming of dragons. Tyrion is very knowledgeable about dragons, and I think that Tyrion, after he reaches Daenerys, I think he may design a saddle for Daenerys. Just like he designed a saddle for Bran in a Game of Thrones. The sort of saddle that allowed Bran to ride horses even when he's disabled. And contrary to a popular belief, because when you have these three heads of the dragon, then you always have Jon placed as Aegon. I don't think that's going to be the case. Dany, as a gendered subversion, is the center of the three heads of the dragon. And Tyrion is Rhaenys and Jon is Visenya. Tyrion has this whimsicality about him that is sort of Visenya. Like, he is the one that is most... he has the shades of idealism in himself. For example, his defense of Sansa in A Clash of Kings sort of reminds me of how Rhaenys was taking care of children and women. And Jon as Visenya, I'm not yet 100% sold on it, but if the theories about Jon wielding Dark Sister will be true, then this is going to do a lot to tie him to Visenya. So yeah, this is how I see it. I would like it best if Arya was Visenya, or Bran warging one of the dragons as the third head. But I think the most probable candidate is going to be Tyrion, Jon, and Dany, with Dany in the center. Which brings me to another theory, which is Tyrion Targaryen. I know a lot of people hate this theory, but I'm gonna say there is a lot of hints towards it. So I'm gonna put it, I don't have strong opinions on it, I just think... I'm gonna put it here, in neutral. I don't think it's very probable. I think it's a bit probable. There's definitely too many hints to ignore it. There's definitely too many hints of, Aerys being infatuated with Joanna, Tyrion having this hair that is so light, is so blonde it's almost white, and him having mismatched eyes just like Shiera's sister. I honestly think this is pretty likely. I mean, not pretty... like I said, there's too many hints to completely disregard and ignore it. And there's also... I don't remember, was it a rumor that Tyrion was born with a tail? There was this rumor that Tyrion was born with a tail, and that it was amputated by the Maesters. And this kind of resembles this whole dragon babies thing that some Targaryen women had. So like I said, there's too many hints. I say I'm neutral. If this happens, I'm going to be like, oh, okay. I know people hate this theory, but just hating theory doesn't mean it's not true. I think there's some likelihood of this happening. Alright, what's next? The doubled one. Oberyn poisoned Tywin. I'm gonna put it here. Because there is a lot of evidence, but I find a lot of this evidence circumstantial. Because there's this theory is basically that Oberyn, upon arriving to King's Landing, he poisoned Tywin as revenge for Elia and her children. And this was this disgusting freaking poison that makes you unable to ship, basically. And that the evidence in favor was that Tyrion found Tywin in his chamber pot when he was when he killed him, and that Tywin's corpse stank. Why I say this is circumstantial. On a completely non-symbolic level, this would work. But I think that Tyrion killed Tywin while he was on his chamber pot, and Tywin corpse stank in order to show that, one, Tywin was not the man he made out himself to be, and two, Tywin's legacy was nothing. Like, he spent his entire life trying to bring the Lannister name to its former glory, but already the second he died, it's all undone by his children. And this is his own doing, because this is how he raised them. He raised them to be self-destructive. Basically, current era Lannisters are everything the Targaryens are accused of being, like this super dysfunctional family that tears itself apart. So if it wasn't for this symbolism, then I would say this is what happened. But I think that Tywin had this undignified death, and Tywin's corpse stank precisely to show that his legacy was a lie. And I find there's a very similar motive in Succession. So I'm spoiling season 4 now. If you don't know already, Logan Roy dies in episode 3 of season 4, and the rest of the season 4 is the kids fighting for power. And I adore how they handle this, because he just dies so unceremoniously on a plane, on the bathroom floor. We barely see his corpse. We barely see him dying. It's such an undignified way for him to go, and such a realistic thing, because they are on a wedding and suddenly they are hit with this realization, oh my god, my dad is dying. I think this is very realistic. If you've ever lost a close one, then you know how this is. That basically it happens so sudden. You have no way to prepare for this, and this is how it played out. I think this worked in much the same way that Logan died in such an undignified way, just like Tywin, to show that the legacy that he built actually means nothing. Alright, I'm gonna pause for a little because I need to hydrate myself. Okay, I ate dinner, took my medicine, and cleaned up this template. Turns out it wasn't my fault, because when you add pictures to this, because this has to be in the form of pictures, they do not recognize the same name as different pictures, and you cannot edit this. You cannot delete it at all. And I had to redo this entire list from scratch. And now I fixed this. Now there's no repetitions, and it looks much better, because if there was a repetition, then it seemed like there's more theories in certain places where there are not. So far, the 100% true category is winning. Alright, I'm closing my eyes. Oberyn poisoned Tywin. Where was... Oh, fuck. No fucking way. This is duplicated array. But most are not. Okay, I will not be putting them. I'll be put them in the back. No fucking way. Okay, no. Okay. Sansa Queen in the North is tinfoil. I'm sorry. But the only reason why this is a theory is because Sansa was given Jane Paule's storyline and was given some political prominence in the show. In the books, she's not even in the North, like she's still staying in the Vale. And contrary to what people are saying, she does not really have experience ruling people. Even in the sample chapters in the Winds of Winter, she's in charge of organizing feasts and whatnot. So this is not ruling. Ruling is what Jon and Dany do in A Dance with Dragons, and because George has a very realistic approach to how ruling looks like, they seem to be doing a terrible job. Well, they're actually just... That's how ruling is. So people are under the impression that if someone is told to be a good ruler, then so if someone is said to be a good ruler, then they are good rulers, even though we do not have any meaningful sample of them ruling. Like, people are saying, oh, Aegon would be such a good ruler because Varys says so. Like, what was this guy ruling? That pole boat? No, that pole boat on which he was on? No. Okay, I digress. Sansa isn't going to be queen in the north. Actually, if we are being real, and the person who has this foreshadowing more, if there is a queen in the north, then this is going to be Arya. Like, there's much more foreshadowing for this. In A Stone of Swords, there's this scene where this guy whose name I forgot kneels to her in the same place that Torrhen Stark knelt from Aegon. So this is already telling me that if there is a queen in the north, then that's going to be Arya. But I don't think there's going to be a queen in the north. So, but if Sansa, like I said in my video, whatever happens, either Harold Harden dies or even Sweet Robin dies, and she's the Lady of the Vale, and that's fine. Alright, eyes closed. Third Blackfire Alliance. So this theory says that most common predictions say that Aryan will marry Aegon Blackfire. But there are theories that say that he will be the third head of the dragon, and that that Dany will take him and Jon as both her husbands, one out of love, the other out of desire. And this is going to work like in the Wars of the Roses, where two feuding bloodlines united and made up. I'm gonna put this here because I would love for this to be the case. But it's not very likely. So where do I put it? I love it, but this is 100% true. So when I was editing it, so now I have to put this here in not very likely. Like, I would love this to be the case, but unfortunately this would be. This is not where this is leading to. I don't think Aegon is going to survive. And contrary to popular belief, I don't think that him and Dany will ever meet. I think when Dany reaches Westeros, it's already over for him. Cersei blew him up. So I would love this to be the case, but unfortunately, not really. Jon will be resurrected is probably 100% true, but I don't think it's going to be like in the show. Like, in the show, he was the same guy. He did not change in the slightest. I think that in the books, it's made very clear that people who get resurrected turn into very different people. Like, Beric Dondarrion, when he was resurrected, was a very different person, and each time he was resurrected, some of his very humanity was lost in the process. So I hope that when Jon gets resurrected, he finally becomes a war criminal. I want him to be, because right now it's not that I used to like Jon a lot, but his stance turned me away from him a lot, and I realized that he is a bit too boring for my sensibilities, because even if he does some morally questionable shit, then the narrative is rewarding him for it. Like, the baby swap is at first treated like this big deal, but then he's vindicated, and turns out it was the right choice after all. And Gilly is never vengeful towards him. So I want him to be fucked up and evil, and then maybe I will start liking him again. Who knows? This fucker is duplicated. No fucking way. This is duplicated again. I hide this website. It's not my fault. It's because of this website duplicates shit. Okay. The Faceless Man caused the Doom is basically canon. Like, this is yet another case of you have to read between the lines to get the Horn confirmation, but until someone stands and announces that this is the case, then people will treat this up and as an up-in-the-air situation. But this is what happened, like, in Valyria they had these mages who were protecting some magical flames and they killed the guy who was in charge of it, and this is what caused the doom. That's what happened. And Grand Meister conspiracy is 100% true, but what is the funniest thing about it is that it's fucking confirmed and people still don't believe in it. I don't know how the hell this works, but in a feast for crows, we literally get a confirmation that the Grand Meister conspiracy is real, that the Meisters got rid of the dragons, that and Fire and Blood basically leaves no doubt as to whether they caused the Dance of the Dragons. So who do you think killed all the dragons the last time around is both metaphorical and literal. And like Marwyn the Mage, who is the Archmaester of the Citadel and knows the inner workings of this institution, says this outright, and people still don't believe it. Like, I don't know what would have to happen for people to accept that this is canon. This is real. This is what happened. The Meister conspiracy is 100% real, and I have a video about it, so go watch it. Gravedigger the Hound is true, and this brings me to Clegane Bowl, because Robert Strong and Under Gregor and Gravedigger the Hound basically connected this. I hate Clegane Bowl. And the reason why I hate Clegane Bowl is because Arthur Sandor found this peace of mind in the Quiet Isle, making him go to the path of vengeance once again would honestly be so pointless. Like, just let this guy live. What would be the point? The only reason why people want this is because they want two big guys to fight. And I know that Clegane Bowl happened in the show, but it was basically just fan service at that point, because they had Robert Strong, they had Sandor survive the battle in Winterfell, and they basically just did this so that that bar motherfuckers can scream like trained monkeys. No, I don't want this to be a thing, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think that if we meet Sandor again, then he's going to meet with Sansa once more, because I don't ship this, like I'm saying before I'm doxed. But if Sandor reappears, then he's going to meet with Sansa, and this is going to be the same sort of meeting that they had in the show, where they're like, oh, you've grown so much, yeah, oh my god, okay. The children created the others. So this was in the show. And I'm not sure. I'm gonna put this here. In that I'm neutral on whether this is the case, but if this is the case, then I'm joining the war on the others, on the side of the others. I think they had 100%. I think they had the right to do this as an anti-colonial resistance. I support them. Like, if this turns out to be the case, then I'm cheering for the others to wipe out all of humanity. Varys Illyrio conspiracy refers to the whole what they were doing with Aegon. So basically, Aegon Blackfyre is also 100% true. There's no other identity young Griff could have. People resist this solely because they want Dany to have an actual challenger. And also a building block to her madness. Like, I discussed this on this channel a lot. But there would be no point in mentioning Blackfyres around A Dance with Dragons. The story of Aegon's survival does not make the slightest bit of sense. It only makes sense as something that was created after they already had an imposter and had to explain how the baby survived. The logistics of it all do not make the slightest bit of sense. Like, what would be the point of even introducing the Blackfyres and suddenly mentioning them, and what would be the point of Aegon having the Golden Company? Like, give him the second sons if it's not important. Like, he's 100% a Blackfyre. But what I fear is going to happen is it's not going to be said like someone looking into the camera and saying, this is a Blackfyre, but people will still insist that it's up in the air, that people insist that we will not learn his true identity, and I fear that we may learn his true identity, but people will still be like, oh, it wasn't said outright, spelled out to us, so it's up in the air. Like, but you see, someone can literally say this is true, and people will still say no, it's not. So I don't know. Holland, Ashara, Mira, and John is one of the stupidest theories I've ever heard of. Literally, the only reason why people believe this is because the actors who played them are similar. That's literally the only reason. And we literally have no indication that Howland and Ashara were involved. Like, we are all told that Ashara was involved with a Stark, probably not. Overall, I hate most of alternative parentage for John theories, but this one is probably the stupidest one I encountered. Like, it's literally based on it's literally based on the fact that two characters who never interact, who never share a scene together, have actors that look alike, and that's all. So this is not even a book theory. Grand Tyrell Conspiracy, I did not read this in all of its entirety, but I wanna put this here. Grand Tyrell Conspiracy is supposed to be the conspiracy that the Tyrells wanted to take Cersei down. I didn't put this here because the Tyrells were to some degree working against the Lannisters. The Tyrells mostly wanted to get rid of Joffrey. But after that, they sort of wanted to still have this alliance with the Lannisters that Margaery and Tommen's marriage guaranteed. So this would be kind of undermining the point of Cersei's character, because Cersei's character is all about the fact that she caused her own downfall, and it would do a lot to undermine it if it was all the Tyrells working against her and not her own undoing. So I put this here because they did work to some degree against the Lannisters, but not as much as the theory claims that they literally did everything to bring Cersei down. Cersei is in a way her own younger, more beautiful queen, you know? Cold Hands, the Night King. I put this here because I wanted to discuss Cold Hands a bit. So I don't care really if he's the Night King. But it's not Benjen. In the show, it was Benjen, but I'm not sure who is he in the books. And I have to remind you that the figure of the Night King is very different than... the figure of the Night King is not really present in A Song of Ice and Fire proper. There's no, like, a shadowy leader of others there. The Night King was, like, a mythological figure during, like, way before I think it was even before the Andals arrived. So, I don't think he's the Night King. I think the theory I like the most is that Cold Hands is Dany Flint, the girl who pretended to be a man to join the Night's Watch. But I don't know, I just wanted to include it to talk about the possibilities here. Okay. Azor Ahai, the prince that was promised, and the stallion who wants the world are the same people, in the sense that it's the same prophecy, because I could not put more text here. I think this is very much the same theory, but I don't think there will be one Azor Ahai. I think there will be several. Jon and Dany and Bran will definitely be Azor Ahais. I don't know about Tyrion or Arya. It's hard to say. But in the sense that this refers to that this is the same prophecy but in different cultures, then this is 100% true. Northern Conspiracy. I'm gonna put this in very probable. But in very probable because there are various instances of this theory. Some of the theories that I've seen claim that the Northerners are aware of Robb's will and are working to have Jon crowned as king in the North. But I think that if anything, then Wyman Manderley is the head of the conspiracy, and he knows that Rickon is alive because this little guy, Theon Squire, told him that he saw that it wasn't that Theon did not kill Bran and Rickon, but some random boys. And if there's a Northern Conspiracy to overthrow the Boltons and do Stark restoration, then it will be centered around Rickon. And honestly, I would wager that there is some possibility of a Stark succession crisis, because Imagine that. Rob is dead. Sansa is in the Vale and can reveal her identity whenever it's safe. Arya is going to return from Braavos. Rickon is alive. Bran is in that fucker's cave and he can return at any given moment. And Jon is going to be taken out. He will no longer be bounded by the Night's Watch vows. So he might pursue Winterfell like he always wanted, because this is what he wanted. Like I don't want it was a show invention. Jon wants it very much in the books. So imagine if all of them learn that they all have claims to Winterfell. I would honestly want to see something like that. The Dance of the Wolves. Alright. Southern ambitions. I talked a bit about this in my video about the Maester conspiracy. I'm gonna put this in very probable, because the fact that there were so many betrothals from people from different kingdoms, and that suddenly Lyanna was betrothed to... Wait. Baratheons? Our first man? It doesn't matter. That suddenly she was betrothed to a guy from a different kingdom is very suspicious. And I believe that Rhaegar was in it. And that Rhaegar fumbled it when he crumbled... That there was an entire big conspiracy between the great houses and Rhaegar, and they all wanted to overthrow Aerys and crown Rhaegar instead. But Rhaegar fumbled it by running away with Lyanna, and instead there was Robert Tiberian. And my prediction was that if this didn't happen, then Rhaegar would rally various lords on his side, and there would be Rhaegar's rebellion, and they would overthrow Aerys, and they would be they would all be working on the same team. And if anyone has any fanfic recommendations about this exact order of events, then I'm very interested in it. Let me know about them. And if not, I will have to probably write it myself. I never wrote a fanfic of this proportions, but I can try. The Faceless Man's conspiracy. This is like a very convoluted theory according to which the Faceless Men not only caused the Doom, but are also allied with the others. And I'm gonna put this here. This is too much of a stretch in my opinion. I don't think that's disconnected. As far as the Faceless Men cause the Doom and are involved in various political machinations, then I'm willing to accept and believe it, but the conspiracy that they are like all the same people is... not the same people, but that they are allied is kind of stupid, if I'm being honest. Alright. So the last two, because these are duplicates. Tywin knew about Purple Wedding, so... According to some theory, Tywin knew that Joffrey is going to be poisoned. He wanted to scapegoat... apparently, I believe... I read this a while ago. I'm not sure if I'm not mixing my own thoughts with this theory, but apparently he wanted to scapegoat he wanted to scapegoat Tyrion and get rid of Joffrey to rule via Tommen. I don't think this is very likely. I don't think Tywin is the sort of person to do this. I think Tywin's authority was enough to enforce his will on Joffrey, and if he wanted to scapegoat Tyrion, he would have found another way. I don't think that... I honestly don't think that it was a good situation for Tywin for his son to be accused of regicide. I think that Tywin did not like this development. I think that Tywin thought that Tyrion was responsible. And I don't think he wanted to... I don't think he would be on board with this plan to scapegoat Tyrion, because it would still harm his legacy in some way, and he was doing crazy damage control. Which is also... Unless we assume that he wanted to send him to the Night's Watch, but I still think that this is a bit out of character for Tywin to just let his son be guilty of regicide just like that. I'm not really a fan of it. And Euron will steal a dragon is very probable. And I think that Euron is going to be the sort of character like the Night King in the show, that he will be creating chaos. I think that he will use Dragon Binder to steal Viserion. And I'm not sure if Viserion will like die or be freed from this influence, or if he will destroy the wall. No, there was another horn that was supposed to destroy the wall. Just I need to do a reread because I'm forgetting so many important stuff. So yeah, I suppose that this is all. Turns out that a lot of the theories that I found, because these are definitely not all of the theories, like these are the theories that I came across in some big mega thread on some forum. There are more of those, definitely. These are duplicated. So, in any case, thank you for sticking with me. Like, I wasn't sure if I'm going to enjoy making this video. I did enjoy it. And if you want more, I would say interactive videos of this sort where there's no script and just me ranting and more fun stuff like that, then let me know in the comments. Like, if you want to see more videos of this sort where we're just having fun and not reading scripts, then I'm definitely up for doing it. You just have to tell me if you like it. So, thank you so much for watching. As always, like, share, subscribe, and comment so that more people can see it. Make sure to click the notification button so that you never miss any video. And I will see you in a week.